Hey guys. Hello. Hello. Um so First Kings 18 and 19. I believe that God wanted me to talk to you about Elijah's renewal because I feel like that's what he's been bringing me to. At the beginning of this year, ending last year and beginning this year, where I got through my master's, I published a book. I had this great sense of accomplishment and victory, but also how God has brought me through things. And He gave me a word for this year, which was renewal. But also, I find that with the snow days and everything that happened in the month of January, He also gave me a lot of time to rest. And I was thinking about how the memes on Facebook, how Elijah, after this entire victory on Mount Carmel, where he showed Israel that God is God and that Baal is a false god, that he was still terrified for his life when Jezebel threatened him at the beginning of chapter 19, and he's terrified and he flees for his life. And he's so tired and he's so done with everything that the man just needed a nap. He needed a rest. And he needed a way forward. And that's what God gave him. Not only did He allow Elijah to run and have that space and have that rest, but He also sent an angel of the Lord 2 times to provide for him. Then He took it even further as to make sure that that was making sure he got to Mount Sinai. But even at Mount Sinai, He addressed him twice. And at first he sent chaos. He sent a windstorm, an earthquake, and fire. But then once everything was calm, once there was peace, He spoke to Elijah in a whisper. He revealed who God is in a whisper. He revealed Himself to Elijah. And I'm just going to reiterate what He said to Elijah at the end of chapter 19 because I feel like it's so crucial to my point here. Tonight, that this is what the world needs right now. It needs rest and renewal. And ironically enough, I'm going to get some sleep after I do this. But after Elijah has pled his case twice before God, God gives him a straightforward answer, which I think is so beautiful. 19 verse 15, the Lord said to him, "Go back the way you came and travel to the wilderness of Damascus. When you arrive there, anoint Hazael to be king of Aram. Then anoint Jehu, grandson of Nimshi, to be king of Israel. And anoint Elisha, son of Shaphat, from town of Abel Meholah, probably butchering that, sorry, to replace you as my prophet. Anyone who escapes from Hazael will be killed by Jehu, and those who escape Jehu will be killed by Elisha. Yet I will preserve 7,000 others in Israel who have never bowed down to Baal or kissed him." So Elijah goes and calls Elisha. But I want to make sure that a few things are clear. In the beginning of chapter 18, we meet a man named Obadiah who helped save and care for 100 prophets, 50 in 2 caves, when Jezebel was feeling herself and trying to kill all the Lord's prophets like the evil woman she was. Not a fan. He not only does that, but he also says it twice to confirm that it was true. And Elijah is, no, go and talk to Ahab. I'm going to renew the land. We're going to do this. So he has this huge showdown, which starts this entire thing with Obadiah. Elijah kills the 420 prophets, meting out God's justice. Not only at the destruction of the prophets, because he is the only prophet of the Lord left at the time, but also, if you don't know, the people of Baal were used part of their worship as child sacrifices. So it was not only justice for the prophets of God that Obadiah and others had tried to protect, but it was also justice for the children that had been killed in worship of Baal and countless other evil practices. So, in those verses, God says, these 3 people that you're going to anoint are going to take up your ministry. They're going to take up the justice against Ahab. They're going to help each other out by making sure that the people of Israel are done. But I'm going to spare, in God's mercy, that I'm going to spare 7,000 so that my people can continue. And I know you're tired, son. I know you're tired, Elijah. I'm going to give you a way out too. I'm going to have you appoint your successor. So Elijah went up to the mountaintop, honoring God, proved that God was real by asking God to show himself. God came through in a mighty way with fire from heaven. God renewed the land of Israel by sending the rainstorm. And then he cared for his prophet. He did not say that Elijah was wrong. He did not diminish his feelings. He did not minimize him in any way. He cared for him. He listened to him. And then he responded to him in a way that provided him a way forward. And I feel like that's what God's trying to do for us this year. I feel like he's trying to provide us a way forward through all the madness. Earthquakes, windstorms, and fire all represent chaos and pain, in my opinion. I could be reading into that. Sue me. But in the gentle moments, in the whispers, where we take the time to listen to each other, we take time to read, like I did today, books that don't necessarily agree with our perspectives. I read a very diverse book today that promoted people who were African American, brown, black, and gay. I'm none of those things. I'm very white. But I still took the time to rest and renew and look at things from their perspective through this young adult book that I read. God wants us to celebrate diversity. He wants us to celebrate rest. And he wants us to look at others and to renew our love for them. Have a great night. God bless.